Elijah Manuel was the passenger in a car that was pulled over for failing to signal on March 18, 2011. When the police officer detected an odor of marijuana in the car, he dragged Manuel out of it, pushed and kicked him, continuing to handcuff him. The officer found a bottle of pills in Manuel's pocket during his pat-down. The pills were tested, and the officers falsified the results to show that the pills were ecstasy. The initial positive pill result were later tested at the scene of the arrest. More detailed negative lab results were presented by Manuel later. Manuel was arrested based on these initial results. The officers continued to rely on the false positive initial tests throughout the grand jury proceedings, and he was held until May 4th, when the assistant state's attorney sought dismissal of the charges. Manuel sued the city of Joliet and various city officials for alleged malicious prosecution as well as other civil rights claims. The district court dismissed most of Manuel's claims as falling outside the statute of limitations. His malicious prosecution claims was not time-barred, however, but was dismissed under Newsom and McCabe, which held the federal claims of malicious prosecution stems that the right was due process and are not a Fourth Amendment issue. Therefore, there is no malicious prosecution under federal law if the state produced a similar cause of action as Illinois did. On appeal, Manuel argued that Newsom did not foreclose a malicious prosecution claim on Fourth Amendment grounds when other officers misrepresented evidence. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit affirmed the lower court's ruling against Manuel as consistent with the Newsom person. Why was this case brought to the Supreme Court?
Well, you see, because Elijah Manuel found that his Fourth Amendment was violated by the Constitution.
All right, was that issue?
Malicious prosecution.
How was this at issue?
Elijah Manuel was falsely convicted by having marijuana on him and having illegal pills, ecstasy on him by the police, falsely convicting him of possession of the ecstasy by faking pills analysis tests.
How and why did the Supreme Court decide this case as they did?
They decided him not guilty because the police officers were using false accounts of evidence. Manuel argued that he can bring a claim for malicious prosecution under the Fourth Amendment because it involves pre-trial detention without probable cause.
It's changed the way that we interpret the Constitution.
It changed our interpretation on the Constitution by if an officer can't determine an illegal act or possession by probable cause, then the officer needs to be granted a search warrant of some sort.
Were there opposing opinions, and if so, why?
Even though he was not guilty, the question was still raised, was it the right thing to do because his Fourth Amendment was violated? Why was the decision controversial?
The decision made by the officer was controversial because the officer lying about the pills and searching Manuel's car without any sort of probable cause. The main reason why it is so controversial because of how the officer interpreted the meaning of probable cause to arrest and search a man's car or not. Also the fact that Manuel was just a passenger in the car, not even the driver.